Hi, this is Karen and Ted Meyer, and we are um, putting together a little something to help the new Temple and Family History leaders get started. And we thought we would just show you a few things that might help you. And we call it Making It Simple. So we went through the handbook and looked very carefully that the bishop holds the keys. He assigns the elders quorum president to lead the work. He may assign a counselor who is over the Temple and Family History leader, and the Temple and Family History leader must be a Melchizedek priesthood holder. So we'll show you how that works. It's just the elders quorum may be assigned to oversee the missionary work and the Temple and Family History work. And generally, he'll be delegating each to a counselor, one to missionary work and one to family history work. So the counselor works with the ward Temple and Family History leader to make sure converts are to the temple within 60 days of baptism. And in contrast to that, and complements that, the ward Temple and Family History leader also assigns a consultant to the new convert. So they work with the ward mission leader, make sure the converts to the temple within 60 days of baptism. Ward mission leader is going to be on top of that to make sure that he has his limited recommend, and they just work together as a team. So the way this works out at a ward council meeting is there's a bishop and his counselors. There's the elders quorum president and his counselors. Then there's the executive secretary, Sunday school president, and ward clerk. Now the young men and young women's presidents are there. The primary president is there, and her counselors come when they're requested. The Relief Society president is always at a ward council meeting, and her counselors come when requested. The other two that come when requested are the ward mission leader and the Temple and Family History leader. We've found a lot of success when the Temple and Family History leader and ward mission leader are invited to share on the ward progress on a regular basis. That's just an idea. If it works for you, we hope that it does. To whom do I report? So this is one of the plans that they really seem to emphasize at the 2019 leadership meeting, and that was that the consultant works with the Temple and Family History leader, who reports to the EQ counselor, who reports to the EQ president, and then he reports to the bishop. So how other ways the Temple and Family History leader can be effective in the ward is to work with indexing. And this is a big project. They assign consultants to work at the Stake Family History Center for indexing and helping once a month at the library with non-members and members to grow their trees. And that's members from every ward. So they also look around the ward to see who really has a knack for family history, and they give those names to the bishop um, for callings. And the high council person on the stake side does the same thing, in giving names to the stake president to consider for callings as working in the stake level of the family history. So there's an indexing flow chart, and this is kind of how it goes. Let's start at the bottom on the right. So indexing can be done at home, and it can be done by non-members or members. They can use their own personal computers. It's all web work now. But member indexers should be trained as consultants. And then if you move over a little bit, we've got the non-members coming to the Stake Center and working on computers there. Now, They just need to be able to work on a computer without having access to personal information, ordinances, or reserving names. The Ward Temple and Family History Consultants, of course, they can bring their own computers to the Stake Center, or they can use the state computers. But again, they're not going to have access to personal information on people, even though it's a family history library. They still need permission to do that kind of thing. So the Ward Temple and Family History Leader, again, this is really important, that those consultants get at least one night a month at the Stake Center so that we could really work with them. And we want to be able to develop them as trainers for classes. So we can't do that if they're not assigned a night at the library on a Wednesday or Thursday night. As we enter a time of most English-speaking records having been indexed already, we will need the indexers to be trained as Temple and Family History consultants or as English as a second language indexers for other languages. So if you took German and French and Russian in high school, brush off those books and we're going to be needing you. So there's some different things that the Temple and Family History Leader can supervise. He monitors the following. So he monitors new members coming in 60 days from their baptism to the temple with their own names. That's really important to the prophet. He stresses it all the time. Also, he helps teach them to train other leaders how to train those 10-year-olds before they enter the young men and young women's organization at 11. He helps new members of Relief Society or priesthood, and he assures all members get the gift of the partner access from the church. And that's that $900 of free software allowed to every single member who is doing family history. It's $900 a year of all these beautiful programs that really help expedite the work. So we just gleaned this from the information that we found on the handbook 2. And so how many consultants do you really need? This depends on the size of your ward. And so you can just consider this as an idea. But we know that if every consultant trained every ward member on what they know, the amount of work that could be done would be staggering. So a bishop calls 2 or 3 ward consultants, and they call 2 or 3 young men and young women consultants. They could also call primary consultants to be trained by a primary counselor who has already been trained by a Temple and Family History consultant. Within the organizations, there are assignments to be made, and that is to kind of help keep things going. There are some people who just can't go to the temple any longer, and they just can't get down on their knees, or they have a bad back, something. Anyway, those people need help. And so what they do is they love to look up names and print them out. And the Priesthood and Relief Society, in each organization, they assign someone to gather up those names, distribute them to people, and make sure they get done, take them back to the person who submitted them, and then organize temple trips for the different factions, either as couples or a men's group go off to the temple or a ladies group go off to the temple. Just make it fun. And the Temple and Family History Leader oversees and reports at correlation how this is going for the EQ counselor and the president and the bishop. So that's what he does. A little different than the ward mission leader. The ward mission leader oversees all the missionary efforts of the ward, but in particular, he oversees the new converts going to the temple within 60 days. So let's see. The leader also works with the WML to ensure that the full-time missionaries are teaching something or someone, that there's an assignment made of a consultant to go out with them and, become this person's friend. Learn more about them, help them build a tree, help them build a fan chart for their wall. When they're baptized, they continue the work by assigning a ministering sister or brother to make sure that they work with the consultant and the new person, and they get to the temple within 60 days of baptism with their own names. So that's it's 3 people right there that are working together for the good of the new convert. And if you haven't seen this great priesthood leadership instruction section, this is a link to it here. I hope that you watch it because it's pretty fantastic. Okay, so now regarding the Stake Family History Center, and I think we mentioned this before, but because it's mentioned a couple of times in the handbook, that it's worth mentioning one more time, and that is that he will assign several or all to work just one night a month at the Stake Family History Library. And they do help not just members, but non-members as well. If they can't make it, they need to get their own substitute. And it's really important that they work together as a team on this, because it's not good for a female to be there alone, and it's not good for a guy to be there alone. So there have to be more than just one person there. And if no patrons show up, they shouldn't just leave. They should use that time to work with the stake leader, the stake's temple and family history consultant, to learn how to give a class, or to learn how to run a PowerPoint. There's all kinds of fun things that we can teach you. So the leader watches over the 3 factions and reports back to the EQ, counselor, or bishop. He assigns a consultant for investigators. They create a free family search login. They create a free family tree. They offer to help with the fan chart. What's the worst thing that could happen with an investigator? If they don't get baptized, you've still done a marvelous thing for that person by showing them the path to their family. And that fan chart on their wall, those spirits will reach out to them, and they will learn to love their family more. Regarding consultants, they help leaders with training of the 10-year-olds and the youth and the new members. They also help all the members. All the members should be taught about Partner Access. That's the software program. Also, they should all be taught about the Consultant Planner, which is now called Helper Resources. It's located under the Help button, and then you click on Helper Resources. And that's for all members. All members will enjoy a one-on-one spirit-led experience at the hands of ward consultants. You cannot appreciate family history until someone has felt the spirit of one of your relatives trying to get your attention, and they actually find a record that you've been looking for a long time. It's very, very powerful. This page actually comes from your very own Temple and Family History Leader calling page. So when you log in, because your name is tied to that title in the MLS system, you'll get a page that looks like this. If you don't have this page, you need to ask your ward clerk if your name is listed in the directory, and you can look in the LDS tools under family history to see if it says Temple and Family History Leader. Ward, Temple, and Family History Leader. That's what it has to say. And then every time you sign in, you'll get the top up-to-date, most recent news about family history that will enrich your calling. What if you feel like you need more help? Oh my gosh, there's so many wonderful things out there that'll help you. Getting help from others. As a helper, it's not possible to know all the answers when it comes to assisting others. But when you have questions, consider one or more of the following solutions. Connect with local helpers to share experiences and expertise. On Family Search, there are lots of groups that will enhance and uplift you in your calling. And one of them, these are in the communities section. So it's communities.familysearch.org, or go to the help button and click on communities and then join one of those groups. You can join the newly called Stake and Temple Family History Consultants if you want, or the newly called Ward and Temple Family History Consultants, or any of the research communities. These are great. They always have information that you're looking for, and someone else is asking the same question. So, and leaders monitor it on a 24/7 basis. Facebook. I monitor one of these. It's called Temple and Family History Consultants, and it's just wonderful. There are so many, I've met so many wonderful people on there. I hope that you will consider that as one of your resources. Also, the TF Guide, the Family History Guide, the FHguide.com. I have to fix that. The FHguide.com is absolutely phenomenal. They take you through, if you don't know how to look up anything on Google, my gosh, it'll start right there. Then they'll take you through every aspect of family history that you want to learn. And that's the passion of it. You have to figure out what it is that you want to learn, and they will help you with it. And they have a proficiency um, area which will show you, you get to judge yourself. Do I know this? If you know it at 1 out of 10, if you know it as a 10, then you slide the button to a 10. You're good. You go to the next step. It's just a really great learning system. And then there's always us. We will help you. If you need help, you can email us anytime, and we'll always be there for you. Now, this is actually from your Temple and Family History Leader page. It's Elder Renlund put a little blurb on there called A Simple Ward Temple and Family History Plan is developed and discussed by Ward Council and approved by the Bishop. The plan includes ways to lift Ward's overall vision and attitude toward temple and family history work. He was a lot of fun during that leadership meeting. This is another page from your Temple and Family History Leader page, and it includes different ideas, even as easy as helping members get their 4 generations into the Family Search family tree. So these are some ideas as well that you can work on. Ward seminars. Uh, I am a firm believer in linger longers. We do, we do potluck taco bars, and we do potluck uh, baked potato bars, and then we just have all the booths set up and just have a wonderful time. And we can help you to do one of those. It's absolutely no work at all. There's ward events that are youth inspired, ward events that are primary inspired. There's events involving the public that can be used as ego projects. And we use consultants to man all the booths and to help people find what they need. And you can always ask your stake consultants to help you with this, and you can also ask area consultants to pitch in and help out. So for more ideas, here's the link to our OneDrive, and there's also a link to your Family Search helper resources. So, as a leader, you get input from leaders, and we happen to have a ward annual plan that you can get their input from. You can, when they send it back to you, you can analyze their input. You can see if there's any overlapping events. If the primary is going to have a event on the same day as the young men's and young women's, this is good to know a couple of months in advance. You can also compare the list of what they intend to do during the year with your list of what your goals are and see if they click. So this is what ours looks like, and we have a little video that's already made on how to use this. It's really easy. Each one of those links to the right there opens up a page to ideas for those ward auxiliaries. So each leadership group plans their own family history activity, but this just keeps them from duplicating themes, overlapping dates, and ensures that at least one of them invites the public and adds to the mission goal of our NASW mission plan. The bishop doesn't have control on this as much as he has an accurate pulse on the ward family history program. So I guess that's control, huh? That's good. Having real numbers is a great thing to have when when the stake is asking for your plan. And the church doesn't have a formatted plan to our knowledge, but this is a great outline for you to use. And the last page of this workbook just adds up all the numbers for you. So at the end of the year, you can kind of see. Again, here's that link to the family history leadership session. So we encourage you to use any information that Family Search already has made up. A lot of times they haven't actually made up training, but they have made up really spiritual slides like The Gatherers. That's a great one to watch. For temple prep seminars, that's something that each leader will go through their organization and prayerfully submit names to the bishop in consideration for people that they feel are ready to start entering the temple. EQ presidents and temple family history leaders. That's my favorite part. The most important thing that we can do for you is to set up an appointment for us to show you a personal family history, one-on-one spiritual experience. And if you'll send us a quick email and give us your permission to look at your tree for opportunities to improve it, we will show you how to analyze a tree. We will show you how to find the answers. And of course, that's because the Lord is helping us. That's the only reason that we're able to do this, is because we feel the Lord's hand in everything. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.